welcome back to Anime Talks. This is your host, Jay Klein, and we're back to dive deep into this setting again, episode after episode. I'm just going to let y'all know we're diving right back into romance again, so just get ready. This one is along the lines of almost like the same thing. Like I've been rolling on like the same thing again. This is, I'll give a shout out to my partner from the Lord of Mysteries, Regan. He gave me this as another thing to watch. I did finish this up, the only season that it has, a while back. So waiting for more. And I mean, it's great. So we're just going to get straight down into it. So the name of this one is called More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers. It's very big, as far as like the depth of the show with how it's layered, and that is what I enjoy most of it. It does a little bit more than like the silly shenanigans that we see out of Rent a Girlfriend, but it's a little bit more hyper like adult like compared to My Dress Up Darling, because I feel like these are all in the same realm of like the same genre of anime. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So we do have our main character, Jiro Yakuin. He's just, our typical guy that's in every rom-com. That's he has this crazy crush on this girl named Shiori, and it's a high school friend, or a childhood friend of his, that he just can't seem to hop over the bridge and say, I like you. It's just like the typical thing. And he just can't push it to get there. Now, on the contrary to this whole situation, they had a very interesting development over the course of this one season, where there was a time where the feelings could have came out. It just didn't happen, and he felt that he was going to get placed in the friend zone. It's one of those, you got to watch it. You got to get there to see it. But there's a misconception and a miscommunication throughout the whole anime, where we do see that Jiro and Shiori just couldn't make it happen, simply just because of like just a couple seconds difference. Is, I want to say, if I'm correct, Shiori like ended up moving away or something of the sort like that. Just wasn't able to get everything off his chest to be able to say, hey, like, I like you. Now to get to Shiori. Now Shiori is like a beautiful girl. She ends up like really getting Yakuin's heart, and he's been dying to like drop the like, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend? He's just the typical guy. He just can't find the confidence to say it, and he just feels like it would mess up the friendship. Now Shiori, she feels the same way, like, and it's odd, they both feel the same way about each other, that it just hasn't lined up yet for both of them, because they both think that they're going to mess things up, and that the other wants it to remain as friends. It's a very interesting thing that you have to watch, because you're just gnawing at like you're just gnawing at it. You're just like, oh, why don't you talk about it? It's aggravating at times, but it's not as aggravating as Rent a Girlfriend. Not as aggravating. It's a timing thing. Now, these two go to school. They go to school at this high school, that they're doing this type of study, or this type of exam. It's a very interesting thing. Like, it'd be crazy if they did this out here. But needless to say, they do have a certain thing set up at their school, that they live with the opposite sex, and they attempt to live as a married couple. Now, the contingency behind it is you live with each other, and you gain points by by living appropriately, as in like showing the right amount of care and compassion, and that boosts up your score. And the highest scoring team or couple wins. And not only that, or I mean, it depicts your grade and all that stuff by being able to um, co coexist or co-inhabit the same area with the opposite gender. Now, the interesting part about it is before they start, Jiro is excited. He is like, I can't wait because I might be able to get paired up with Shiori. Uh, Shiori ends up feeling like she wouldn't be able to make it with any other guy because she's socially awkward, but she wants to pair up with Jiro. Now, the biggest twist out of this is the hottest girl in high school at the time, Akari Watanabe, she ends up getting paired up with Jiro. Now, the catch to this is Shiori ends up being paired up with Minami. Now, crazy plot twist, Minami is the hottest high school guy. So they're both paired up with the like, I guess, the star person of that gender. That the craziness of it is Akari wants to be paired up with Minami. Minami has his own thing that you got to just watch the show. I feel like that releasing that much information will just bomb his huge plot point that's in it that you just have to see. But with that being layered down, what you do have is you're pretty much your textbook situation of how things go. Jiro and Akari are now teaming up to live as a married couple to be able to get to the highest score, to be able to swap out their partners. And Jiro wants to get Shiori and Akari wants to get with Minami. Now, there is another sidestep to that. The other team that they would like to swap with, any other member that they would have to swap with, that group also has to be in the top percentile with the grade point average. So both married couples have to be doing well for them to be able to make it happen, which is pretty interesting. I like the way that it's set up that way because you see that these two are trying really hard to be able to get their grades up and be able to keep everything going. Of course, everything starts up rough because Jiro's just like, a little nerd guy. He's just your average, typical rom-com main character. He's just really into the hot girl, but like not really. He is really trying to get with Shiori. But the problem that he's running into is your typical rom-com happens where Jiro and Akari ends up, they end up spending a lot of time together, and they end up developing feelings that are mainly on Jiro's side, where he's not really feeling it too much, like, because he knows his end goal, and he sort of berates himself because he knows he's not the macho guy that Minami is, that Akari looks up to so much. Now, to sidestep off of that and to touch on Shiori's side, Shiori is grouped up with Minami, and they actually have a pretty interesting dynamic going on. They get along really well, but there's nothing personable about it. She just does just the basic things because she's just a very nice, kind-hearted girl. So she does the cooking dinner. She does everything. But it's almost as if they downplay their side and leave it boring, so we could see the huge changes and the up and down of the Jiro Akari group, where they're just kind of going at it, and like they just have a lot more development when it comes down to you see what's really going on. And they go to all different kind of things. They go out, they end up like attending certain events. just all kinds of things. I do want to say this. I probably should have prefaced this at the beginning. Make sure you're not watching this with any children. I definitely got into this knowing already not to view this with children around. I do like have to put that out there. Definitely don't watch this with your children. It has some sexual themes there, and some sexually suggested situations do pop up, but outside of that, definitely don't watch this with your kids around. This does have a lot of other supporting members in the cast, but they're not really much like. Yeah, they're just like within this, you do have Akari has like her little girl gossip group that is just kind of like the Mean Girls. They kind of like do their thing. But of course, the girl group knows that Akari's starting to develop feelings for Jiro, and Jiro he has a knucklehead buddy that is sees it as well. Very much so sees it, and it's very interesting on how that plays out because it's just like, it's just one of those weird situations when it comes down with how that boils down with them. But of course Shiori has her little her supporting friend that's there who sadly actually has she's a girl that likes her and actually likes Shiori so much, but she's being such a good friend to help her get with Jiro. And it's a very interesting dynamic there. They have a lot of different things that's going on within the show that just makes it really, really, really deep, but it's from like a good pacing. I do enjoy. We are sitting at like 12 episodes. We do have another season coming up soon. It's enjoyable. I do like it. It's something to definitely dive into, like really as a side show. It's not like a main show. I definitely have to say that it's definitely not really worth just sinking your time just into this. Of course, if you're into rom-coms, this is for you. Like, this is definitely it. I enjoyed every last bit of it. It's because I do podcasts. I enjoyed this by itself. I was just watching this. I flew through all 12 episodes like within a week. And it was really great. Crazy cliffhangers, crazy development of where we're going to go to next. And it's worth watching. Like I said, it's worth watching. If I had to give this on a grading scale, we're going to go off the same metrics as we do with anything else. With the casting, I do like how small the cast is. Cast is great. Each cast member has their own interesting development and intertwining situations that do pop out, and I do like that especially for an anime like this. They do what they're supposed to do. I enjoyed every last minute of it. That alone, cast size and development of the cast is very important. So I will have to say it definitely keeps the point because of that. Character development, we'll still get that because the character development essentially only revolves around 4 people, which would be Shiori and Akari, Jiro, and semi Minami. His little part kind of falls off eventually towards the end of that season, and it's really good. I really do like the way that they handled the character development. We just don't know what's going to happen in season 2. It's only speculation. I could go read it, but I don't want to spoil the fact that I already just watched season 1, and it's just really, it could just get only better from there, being able to just be patient enough to wait to watch it. Now, like outside of that, like it being a rom-com, for like, the cast is good, the character development is good. There's not too many irking moments within it. I'll be honest that they do really good to stay away from that. I hate I hate to downplay it because I love the show, but Rent a Girlfriend. There's just too many times where like I was really just kind of like frustrated with the show, but I do like the show. It's just one of those like those moments where you're just like, come on, man, just like get it together. This show didn't have that. It had a lot of healthy development where they got close, they did a lot of things, and just a lot of heart racing, heart pumping moments, adrenaline rush situations that panned out within a relationship, and they had their ups and downs, just like a married couple would have. But it's in the set of that these are just kids that are put in this simulation of how to live a married life, and that within itself is just good layering and good plot development. It's kind of like almost like a soft rom-com version of SAO, just without like all the craziness that's within the SAO universe. Just they did really well with how that's put together, and I would definitely say check it out. Give it a good once over. It's definitely worth watching as a sideshow because it's not that long. It's just only 12 episodes. You like if you're a binger, you can probably finish this all in a day. Really, like realistically, you can finish this in a day. Respectfully, probably two. But outside of that, I definitely say this is rating wise 10 out of 10. That's just like on the rom-com scale, 10 out of 10. It keeps you invigorated the whole time to be able to dive in, and it gives you enough depth to want to know what's going to happen next. Like I said, I'm like it's eating away at me to like go read this and like get further, but I'm gonna be patient, and I do recommend if you like it, definitely go read it. It's worth the read. Because there's just so much that season 1 gives us that season 2 is just going to double down and just give us all the other answers that we need on what's to come next. But again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. That's really all I have on this anime. It's not that long. Like I said, just 12 episodes. So there's not really much to talk about with it other than being able to kind of dive in to the life of Akari, Jiro, and Shiori as they progress through their simulated life of being a married couple and not knowing where they're going to end up because they're all conflicted on what's going to happen, and there's just a lot of for one, there's like a lot of being indecisiveness, and just a lot of awkward social cues that just aren't being picked up. There's just a lot of things that are going on that it just is very is very relatable, and for the most part it's interesting to watch. Like of course it's a rom-com, but the plot just makes you it keeps you stuck in there, and it makes you want to get more. So that's all I really have for y'all today. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and until next time.